Welcome to the Board of Police Commissioners weekly meeting. My name is Lisa Carter. I am the Commissioner for District 6. At this time, we do not have a quorum, and we will go to prayer.
Chaplain Dexter, please go ahead and.
Yes.
Invocation, I'm sorry.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chaplain Dexter from the 4th Precinct, and we will have our prayer now. Well, Father, we thank you for an awesome afternoon of weather, and we just thank you for this time where we gathered together at the police board commissioners meeting, and we just pray, oh God, that you would just that we have a good meeting, that you would guide the commissioners in what to do, what to say, where to go. We cover the police department right now in the name of Jesus. And we just pray for an excellent meeting, and all of the things that I've discussed, the agenda will be done in your name. And that, oh God, we just bless it that you are here blessing our city, our commission, and our police officers. We pray for safety for all of our citizens, and especially for our officers. Bless them and give them what they need to do the job that they have signed up to do. We thank you. We bless you on this day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. At this
Yes,
time,
ma'am.
I see
Woods is
that
here.
Commissioner Woods has arrived.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we don't have a quorum right now. Ask that if the secretary give her a couple seconds to give her report. Well, as she get ready, let's go to public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have 4 speakers in the office, in the auditorium. Our first speaker will be Lieutenant Mark Young, followed by Mr. Dana Luna, Minister Eric Blunt.
Good afternoon. On behalf of my colleagues, it's important for me to speak. The difference you make. Thank you to my colleagues for your commitment, your courage, your dedication, your efforts, your visibility. Yes, I said it, visibility, because I see you in my community, and I see what you do and others do too. Your presence, your endurance. You are more than an asterisk. You are more than a soundbite. The state of the city talked about substantial progress and growth of the city and how far we come. That progress would not have happened if it wasn't for you and your efforts. Without you, the shareholders and the stakeholders wouldn't be investing, profiting. Because of you, Detroit is a better and safer place to live, work, play, and socialize and live and enjoy. Yes, we got a ways to go, but we're getting there because of you. Never be discouraged, be encouraged. You are not always going to get the credit, except the vilification, but it wasn't about credit, it was about results, and you're doing the damn thing. And never forget, you matter. You matter. There will be people that talk every day. You matter. Lastly, never forget you're important too. Have balance, get an annual physical, take prescribed medications, and never forget what's important. That's you, your family, and your friends. God bless you and thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
I want to thank you so much for your remarks. They were heartfelt and they mean a great deal to me and I'm sure my colleagues. Thank you so much for being so introspective and kind and generous. your remarks, and God bless you.
Lieutenant, Lieutenant, that was wonderful, though. Wonderful remarks.
Okay, please call the roll.
Commissioner Woods,
Present.
Commissioner Bernard,
Present District 2.
Commissioner Banks,
Present.
Commissioner Bell,
President District 4.
Commissioner Burton,
Present District 5.
Commissioner Carter,
Here.
Commissioner Moore is excused, Commissioner DeWalsh is excused. 6 present, sir.
Thank you. Please, let me see. I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of April 3rd, 2025 agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bernard.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Banks. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. I entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes for March 27, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bernard.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Banks. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. I entertain a motion for the approval of the closed session minutes for March 27, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bernard.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Banks. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. Let's go to the introduction of BOPC staff, Chief of Police, and elected officials.
Those registered as present thus far are as follows: Attorney Dante Goss, Chief Investigator Jerome Warfield, Drew Freeze, Felicia Tyson, Mary Barber, Teresa Blossom, Candace Hayes, Armesia Joshua, Janya Underwood, Dr. Francis Jackson, parliamentarian, DPD HR Director Katrina Patillo. For Chief of Police Todd Bettison, this afternoon,
Deputy Chief Carrie Sloan.
thank you. Our interpreters today are Ms. Yakata and Dr. Stephanie Beatty. Co-reporter Don Handyside, Enrique Jackson, audiovisual, Charles Henry, Media Services. Elected officials or representatives that are registered thus far: Marie Overall for State Representative Tyrone Carter, Friedra Butler, 2nd Precinct Community Relations President, LaDon Davis, Office of Councilmember Fred Durhall III, Mark Young, President of Lieutenants and Sergeants Association, Ron Thomas, President Detroit Police Officers of America, Scotty Bowman, and former Detroit Police Commissioner William Davis. That ends the listing for this afternoon.
Thank you very much. No BOPC officers reports. We'll go to the Chief of Police report.
Good afternoon, through the
Good
chair.
afternoon.
How are you?
Great.
Thank you for allowing me to be here in place of Chief Bettison today. I'm happy to report that we are still trending down in overall Part 1 crime. Today we're showing a 9% reduction in Part 1 violent crime. We're down 44% in non-fatal shootings, 14% in robberies, and 32% in carjackings. We'll still be working to keep pushing those numbers down, but we're happy with the progress so far this year. A couple of significant arrests I would like to make the board aware of is we were able to close a cold case from 2022. It was a homicide that we had in the 18,000 block of Ashton, where a man was shot inside of a home. We were made an arrest, and the person was charged. In another case from 2022 of Jania Bryant, that was in the 8800 block of Burnett. That person was shot and killed inside of their vehicle. We discovered that the suspect was also involved in a previous carjacking, and we were able to close both of those cases. In some news, the chief was at the table luncheon on Friday, March 28th. He met with the Detroit Athletic Club to thank them for a donation to the Public Safety Foundation. That donation was used to purchase new bikes for our officers and also comfort dogs to assist our crisis intervention team. We had a recruiting event. They attended a recruiting event, at Western High School Career Fair. That was yesterday, and tomorrow they will be at opening day with the Tigers. And of course, we have the big event tomorrow with the Detroit Tigers playing the Chicago White Sox. Officers will be out early. We were able to announce our safety plans to the community. We don't anticipate any issues, but we'll have a lot of officers out there. We just ask that the community is patient with us because it will be very crowded. We also have a safety seminar that's scheduled for April 5th at the Bel Air Theater in the 11th Precinct. We're hosting an active assailants attacks in the House of Worship seminar. This is designed to equip religious institutions with the knowledge and tools to prevent, respond to, and recover from potential threats or violent incidents. And that is it for the report.
Any questions? Yes, Commissioner Bernard?
I just want to remark for the benefit of our community. Last week, as you know, we did all of the promotions, and I thought you'd like to know, although they've been promoted to a certain rank, what division and so forth they're involved in. First Assistant Chief Charles Fitzgerald is in charge of the Office of Enforcement Operations. Assistant Chief Franklin Hayes is in charge of the Office of Strategic Planning. Deputy Chief Michael Parrish is in charge of the Planning and Transformation Bureau, and Commander Philip Rodriguez is in charge now of the 10th Precinct, which had been asking, for a permanent person for a long time. The Captain Amber Roberson is in the 10th Precinct. Captain Matthew Bray is in the 8th Precinct. Captain John Stewart is in the 9th Precinct. And Captain Sharon McClure is in communications, just so you know what happened to him since last week. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I want to, go ahead, Commissioner Banks.
Thank you. Through the chair. Deputy Chief, you mentioned you'll be equipping religious institutions. What are you equipping religious institutions with?
Through the chair, it's to equip them with knowledge and just tools to react to those situations, not literally equipment, but just ideas and a plan on how to react in a situation like that.
In a situation like what?
So if there was an attack on a house of worship, active shooter, that type
Okay,
of.
right, I got it. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yep. I want to ask about how I'm very, very pleased that you guys are bringing comfort dogs in because I believe that the community benefits from that greatly. How is this just going to be in-house, or would they be going out with the crisis response team in the community?
To the chair, yes, they will be going out and responding with the crisis intervention team. They'll respond to situations where we believe that the dog will have a comforting effect, possibly somebody that's in crisis that would gain some comfort from having those trained dogs there on scene.
Absolutely. I think they work very, very good in a lot of crisis situations. I've worked with Oakland County in a lot of their crisis responses and seen that they are very effective. So I'm glad that you guys brought that on. I've encouraged the chief that that's something that you guys should be doing. And so thank you for that update. Yes.
Just real quickly, Deputy Chief, right? I got it right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I read that you're going to give everybody a red and black thing for your shoulder, for your uniform regarding COVID-19. Can you tell me how that came about? Everyone who was here and served in year 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, a ribbon was created to memorialize the event. The pandemic changed the world and greatly impacted the Detroit Police Department. That starts March 24th. You're going to do the distribution.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
can you tell me how that came about?
Yes, through the chair. Yes, ma'am. So that's a ribbon that we would wear on our chest. We have ribbons for a variety of reasons. This particular one is awarded to officers who were employed during, obviously a very tense time. Officers put themselves at risk for contagions and things of that sort. So it's just a way to acknowledge the members of the department during that time and the work that they did.
Okay. Well, Thank you.
Okay, thank you very kindly. We go back to oral communications. And let the record reflect that Commissioner Smith is present as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll start back with Mr. Dana Lund, then Minister Eric Blunt, and Ms. Sharnita Williams.
Are you ready? Yes, I'm up here again, trying to get this situation under control. About you guys, it'll be 2 months now that you inquired about the police reserve, which no one never got in touch with me about that situation. But don't worry about it. I could care less about being a reserve officer since no one could never get in touch with me about it. 2 is, why is it that no one, they blocked my number at the 9th precinct? I tried to call the 9th precinct and they will not answer my phone. Is that a thing to do with the police department, that you can block someone's number to get help? So I use my closed caption phone and I call from there. They answer that number. 3, the shooting on Waltham is my block. And that even made my granddaughter more scared than anything. And I have called the 9th precinct for situations, and you guys do not want to react. And I have to watch my granddaughter go over to her mother's house all night. That's a shame that you guys can't even take care of a situation that I can't even call about a situation. So I don't even know who to call. And I done heard about a young man soliciting, well, not soliciting, raping a 14-year-old. But I can't call the precinct to find out where do you call about that. There's several things that's going on, and I didn't even ask Sergeant Harper at the 9th precinct, is it all right that you can brandish your gun on someone? But they don't even take care of that situation. But I can't get any answers because Captain Gonzalez, they don't want to react. And I asked her, do not mention what the situation is.
All right, it's time. Deputy Chief Sloan, can
Yes,
you
sir.
have someone?
Yes, sir. Yes,
They do that. Don't worry about it. I'll go out with my bullhorn and I
Okay.
can speak more that way because you always cut me off. And you always take me in the hallway and I never get an answer.
You got 2 minutes to speak, sir.
I have time.
And so that's all, you're done?
Yeah.
All right, have you filed a citizen complaint? You have filed a citizen complaint?
They just take me in the hallway. I never heard of it.
Have any of our staff, Chief Warfield? Okay, so we do have a complaint on file and it's being investigated, and I'm sure our staff will respond to you accordingly.
I like
No problem.
Yeah, and Deputy Chief, go ahead.
Can anybody block a person
Through the chair.
from calling the police station?
No, ma'am. I have 27 years on the job, and we do not have the ability to block a phone number from the precinct phone. So I would like to get your information and look into it for
I
you.
can call it right now and they'll never answer it. My number. I can call from my cell phone right now. They will not answer that number.
Okay. That's concerning to me.
Okay.
So if you wouldn't mind, would you please give one of the officers your information and I'll get in contact with you?
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
After,
Yep.
I can come back.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Mr. Blunt?
Good afternoon, Board. I'm Minister Eric Blunt from Sacred Heart Catholic Church right here in Detroit. As the previous commenter said, something happened and the police department says, hey, I've never heard of that before. Well, we are living in unprecedented times as far as law enforcement goes. Yes, federal agents have deported innocent people. In fact, a man was deported, innocent man was deported, sent to another country, and now law enforcement says there's nothing they can do because now he's in another country. This is unprecedented times we are living in. And as far as surveillance goes, on the agenda, facial recognition is one of the most racist systems you could ever have in surveillance, but yet we continue to approve it, deplore it, and continue to make excuses as to why it doesn't work. Right here in Detroit, there are at least 3 known cases where innocent Detroiters were falsely imprisoned. One was an 8-month pregnant black woman. All 3 of them were black. Of course, because that's what facial recognition does. It makes a distinction of how well you can identify people based on their color. And the darker your complexion, the less it can uniquely identify you. But yet we still continue on. And speaking of arrests and cases and cold cases, we still haven't heard about whoever murdered the Jewish leader. We do know Michael Jackson was arrested twice and was found to be innocent by a jury. Of course, another black man. Commissioner Woods, I will give you credit for one thing. This week, the Michigan Supreme Court ruled that the smell of marijuana is not enough in order to arrest or detain or have a warrant by the police department. And what I want to give you credit for is that at a community meeting about a year ago, someone was given an award for being a marijuana grower and distributor. And you refused to vote for that award. And your reasoning was very clear. Marijuana is still an illegal substance on the federal level. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm not going to do that too many more times.
I know that. That's why I let you finish.
Hello, through the chair. Last week, a caller called in concerning a rape that occurred at 3426 Mack Avenue. It was not a rape. It was an officer that lived in that facility, because I live there. She was having sexual relations with 2 different guys. She got caught having sex, then falsified the report saying she was raped. No, security guard and a staff member. Plain and simple. Someone's here from my facility. But this is for you through the chair. Last week when I asked Patello 3 times about were they recruiting, and you did not allow her to answer that question. So I've been coming here for an awfully long time. It's over 2 years, and you just became the chair not too long ago. So, through the chair, I would like to know, my complaints is very valid. They are recruiting in these facilities, but you all act like this does not exist. I just seen one on my way here getting off the bus going to 3426 Mack Avenue, and she dropped her luggage because they must have said she coming down Mack. She crossed the street. It's unbelievable. The homeless shelters are for homeless people, not for the people that have the means to pay rent. And they do get paid when they are going through training. They get a $3,000 signing bonus if they stay in the city of Detroit. So I continue to complain about this problem that homeless people are having and cannot get into these shelters. I hear people calling, and they say there's no beds available. But you come in through the overflow that whoever is being recruited, but they're recruiting people too that stay in that facilities, and a lot of people was not ready to become officers or anything associated with the Detroit Police Department. It's a known fact, because this woman lied, falsified reports saying she was raped. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Mr. Chair, we're going to go into Zoom. Our first speaker will be former Commissioner William Davis, and Mr. Henry Kesselman would be our last speaker.
Okay, thank you. You may be heard if you're listening.
Good afternoon. Can I be heard?
Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Okay, I'd like to start off by saying a couple of things. One, I think would be good if the Board of Police Commissioners and Detroit Police Department would regularly post updated names of who the captains and who the commanders are for each precinct. Because sometimes I get people, because people still talk to me like I'm a citywide police commissioner. And then sometimes people just don't know who's going to be in charge and how long they're going to be there. Because it seems like it's a rotating leadership quite too frequently. Also, I think some type of information, some type of report should be generated as it relates to sexual assaults in these shelters. Because, we have vulnerable people there that are sometimes being abused. And, and city resources sometimes are helping to support some of these shelters. Also, something that's a little bit different than some of the stuff I talk about, because I'm all against bad police, and I think we need to support good police officers doing their job, because it's a thankful, like I say, it's a very hard job. But I think we need to also push for some language that y'all might want to recommend to City Council and maybe to the state of Michigan as it relates to people that process bad police reports, that falsify information on police reports, because that takes up a lot of time, and sometimes people just do that because a way of getting back at somebody, especially like an ex-lover or a neighbor that they don't like. That's my comments for today. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, and thank you for that great idea. Do you guys post the command staff on your website, right?
To the chair, yes, but it probably needs to be updated, so I'll make sure that gets done. And I also wanted to comment about the false reports.
Yes.
Anytime that we can prove that there has been a false report made, officers and investigators will ticket that individual, and they will be required to go to court for that.
Okay, and Madam Secretary, if you can make sure that our website have the command staff at every precinct on there, please update that and put it on our social media handle as well. Thank you. Next speaker.
I'd like to know what the Office of the Chief Investigator through Mr. Warfield are doing with the backlog of cases, because it seems like in the 2-something years he's been on the job, he hasn't done nothing to lessen the backlog of complaints. It seems that the complaints are rising in numbers instead of lowering in numbers, and that's not why he was hired to do his job.
Are you done?
I stopped talking, didn't I?
Okay. Do I let his time run? Go ahead, Chief.
Through the chair, in your binders, there is a report in your bindings as relates to the numbers from 2024. And at the very end of that report, there is an email that I received from our new case management company, which basically highlights that for the first quarter of this year, our investigators closed 614 investigations, which is a record bar none. You can go back as many years up until the actual federal consent decree, and we've never closed consistently 200 investigations per month. There are a couple of things that are at work here, however. One is we're still receiving a high number of complaints coming into the office at a record number. The other thing is we have streamlined and will continue to streamline how we process our investigations. And we are presenting a plan before the subcommittee of citizen complaints at the very next meeting to even streamline our processes more. And with the addition of our new case management system, we're able to move cases through a lot quicker than we ever had. But our staff is doing a yeoman's job. And not only have we closed on average 200 cases a month, which is unbelievable, they did it the right way. And they did it by thoroughly investigating every single claim that came in. And so I'm very proud of our staff and our administrators. Now, here's another thing, real quick. Our administrative staff, unfortunately, are doing 4 times the work that they were used to because of the voluminous volume that's coming in right now from the investigators in the office. And thank God for your leadership and the leadership of this board that is advocating for additional administrative staff so that we can release the pressure off of them and even get more cases coming through this board. And finally, this year, you know this, Chair, and others who sign, we present at least 40 cases a week. Sometimes it's 45, sometimes it's 48 cases a week to be reviewed by this board, whereas in prior years, the maximum number was somewhere between 15 cases a week. So we have more than double, almost tripled the amount of cases we're bringing to this board to be closed every single week. And again, that's because of the outstanding work of our investigators, our supervising investigators, our senior investigators, and our administrative staff. You know, the backlog happened from 2016 through 2024, and we are knocking it down, and we're going to do even a quicker job at it. But at the same time, we're respecting the citizen's voice and doing it the right way. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Our next speaker is Mr. Smith.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to talk about the video release ordinance. I think this is a very important thing. Even though it's in the hands of City Council at this point, I feel like not enough has been said on this board about this ordinance, and it seems like the board doesn't really want to exercise their power, even though it is up to the chief and the mayor. But the board can also advocate and speak out for things like video release. As we see with Brandon Cole, the officer who was suspended without pay for months and months, who didn't even have a body camera on, who was a lieutenant, who said egregious things like he's a part of a secret unit that I would never find out about, told me that I was protesting NAACP, and the amount of power that an officer could have, and to not have on a body camera or to have body camera footage withheld from the public is ridiculous. If you want to really have transparency in the work that police do, we need to have transparency to the point where there's an officer involved shooting, or if there's any situation where the public will want to be notified about what happened when it comes to the police and their conduct, we want that to be released within 7 days. This ordinance is very important, and we're going to push it through City Council. We're going to really circumvent the Board of Police Commissioners, because it seems like you guys are not exercising your power, not doing what you should be doing when it comes to speaking out even on the small matters. And it seems like only certain people get helped. Like the last time I was on the meeting, it seemed like there was a gentleman who had been fighting the same issue he said for 20 years, and it seemed like he was going to get help immediately. But some of us who come to this meeting all the time, we're advocating for the same things all the time, speaking the same things, we don't get that same help. So we have to go around you guys, which is fine, but we will leave no stone unturned, and this video release ordinance will be passed, and it's really going to be adhered to. And if you don't adhere to it, we're going to hold you accountable. I'll see you the rest of my time.
Thank you very kindly. Any more speakers?
That is it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'd like to respond just quickly.
Yes.
Thank you for your comments. I have on my desk, and so does the policy committee right now, the body-worn camera policy, which will speak specifically to many of the issues that you're talking about. The video release ordinance was something that myself and my committee introduced almost a year ago now, and it was voted down by the board. That was to the effect that we were proposing more than a policy. We were proposing that an ordinance be adopted so that it would give it additional teeth, because that's what exists in other jurisdictions. So we're looking at that again. I haven't seen what you're talking about in terms of what you've put together as the video release ordinance, but I'd be delighted to see it, and I'm sure the rest of the board and the committee would as well. And I am very much in favor of swift release of video, and I've cited many times Chicago as for me the landmark jurisdiction on this. The Chief White, as you know, and Deputy Chief, you should know this. Chief White had recommended, I believe, a 45-day video release policy based on what happens in Los Angeles. And I didn't think that was a good idea. I like the Chicago ordinance better. and their whole process and procedure. So this is still up in the air, but we will look at it again and see what can be done.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we're locked up with City Council on this issue. We are very, very familiar with it. We're not asleep at the wheel in no shape, form, or fashion. We have been having ongoing discussions with the department about this particular issue, and we expect change to happen very, very soon. And so we don't want to get ahead of our negotiations with them on this issue. And so, because as it pertains to policy, you know, that is a trifecta. The mayor, the board, as well as the department has to come together and bring our heads together. They can't pass without us, and we can't pass without them. And so we have to work together and come to meet in the middle. But I know change is coming very, very soon. And Mr. Blunt has been very, very strong advocate in this situation. His voice is being heard, you know. So just be patient, and you'll see some change. Yeah, let the record reflect that Commissioner Presley is present. And let's go to the budget presentation. Mr. Drew Freeze did a stellar job in City Council the other week.
Through the chair, thank you. Good afternoon, Board of Police Commissioners. You should find this presentation within your packets, and I believe it's available to present on screen.
Tab 5.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernard. Amazing. So I've been asked to keep this presentation succinct, but I'm excited to walk through our agenda today, and that is to speak to year-to-date BOPC budget actuals, opportunities to utilize the favorability within this present fiscal year budget, where we stand in the 2025 through 26 fiscal year budget cycle, and then reflect on DPD's budget review and ultimate approval by this board, and then reflect on the results of the BOPC budget hearing with City Council that took place on Monday, March 24th. Through July of 24 through February of 2025, the BOPC budget spend is $2,338,826 relative to the planned spend of $2,864,089. This represents a year-to-date utilization of 82%. This budget favorability is largely driven by the one-time funds granted to this body to bring on 28 task workers to clear the backlog in the present fiscal year. At the time, we were guided by the union that we could not bring on task workers, and instead, we were advised that we could bring on full-time employees. As such, the board moved forward with hiring 6 OCI investigators to help clear the backlog. And the difference of the cost of those salaries and benefits of those 6 workers relative to the 28 OCI temporary workers, it is what driving that favorability. I just want to know that this is not a misstep of the board, but instead adherence to what was guided by the union. As such, there is favorability available, and our plan to utilize that favorability is the OCI investigative task workers that started on Monday, BOPC administrative task workers, which is a recommendation out of the BOPC Budget Committee, a spring training workshop for BOPC staff and commissioners, and equipment and technology upgrades for BOPC staff and commissioners. As we reflect on the budget timeline, this is for the current budget cycle for the city. When we zoom out, the 2 most important things that this body leads on the fiscal front is the rigorous review of DPD's budget and the bottoms-up budget build, submission, and eventual approval of our own BOPC budget. So I just want to reflect on those two initiatives, how far we have come. Go to the next slide. Okay, so December 3rd of 2024, Chief Bedison and Agency CFO, Mr. Nazarko, sent the DPD budget to the BOPC, to the Board of Police Commissioners. This is the earliest the board has received DPD's budget draft in quite some time, and we are proud of that partnership. Then, from December of 24 through February of 25, the BOPC budget leads the review of DPD's budget plan, which includes 30-plus questions, and within each question is 3 sub-questions. And it included multiple in-person meetings with CFO Nazarko and Commander Parrish, now Deputy Chief Parrish, for discussion and in-depth review. This is the highest level of partnership and collaboration shared with DPD on this budget review in more than a decade. On February 18th, the BOPC Budget Committee recommended the approval and sent it to this board. 2 days later, February 20th, the Board of Police Commissioners approved DPD's budget. The progress that we've made on this front is something that this body should be very proud of, and I too am proud to take a part in this process. Monday the 24th, BOPC had a budget hearing with City Council. It was our goal to be able to maintain our current OCI investigators, and motions were made and passed by City Council to include this budget line into the executive sessions, as well as 2 more incremental OCI staff administrative assistants. And as of 2 days ago, there was an email from Council President Mary Sheffield that she will be advocating to maintain the 6 OCI investigators in the upcoming fiscal year. A couple sentiments from some city partners. The BOPC's budget hearing with City Council went as good as it could have gone. The most positive and supportive tone City Council has had towards the board in many years. Just all to say, the budget hearing went exceedingly well. Very proud to take a part in this process and very proud to serve this body. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
All right. Again, I echo that you did a phenomenal job in presenting everything to City Council. The team effort there was just amazing there. So we got to go to, we did the board secretary. We have to go to unfinished business.
We didn't do the board secretary.
She was getting ready. Thank you. Get me together. Madam Secretary, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. I love it.
Under tab 6 in your binder this afternoon, you will find the 2 reports, A and B, and then memoranda, C, D, and E, from the respective committees that met this week. The announcements for upcoming meetings are as follows. The next board meeting is next Thursday, April 10th. It's a community meeting in the 9th Precinct. It will be at Ford Community Center East, 15491 Madeline Street in Detroit. The May community meeting will be held Thursday, May 8th, 6:30 p.m. 8th Precinct is the location. The specific place is Crowell Recreation Center, 16630 Lasher Road, Detroit, 48219. The next upcoming committee meeting will be next Tuesday, April 8th at 3 p.m. here in this room, Skylar Herbert, and it will be the Citizen Complaints Committee meeting on next Tuesday at 3 p.m. And that's the end of the report, sir.
Thank you very kindly. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, I requested and asked the board to allow the board secretary do what duty in terms of reporting out, in terms of assessment, goals, and objective. So when is that forthcoming?
Well, she can give a report on.
I'm talking about a report, sir, all due respect.
Okay.
I'm talking about a assessment of her position as board secretary for how many months, ma'am? How many months?
A bit over 6 months, Commissioner.
Over 6 months report.
sir.
Oh,
I think that would be.
you'll get an answer in response to that in the report. We handle that situation in personnel and training, so we have a response.
My understanding, that's not what I requested about performance evaluation. I'm just speaking to when you get a position, you are able to report out. We have heard from the chief of police reporting out to his goals and objectives for the DPD and for this board.
I got you.
We should have the same courtesy professionally from the newly hired board secretary. That is, you agree with me, that was standard practice in this country.
Whenever we open up the floor for her to give a report, it's up to her to give a report. And if you're not satisfied with her report, then you should have a conversation with her. But the fact of the matter is, her report is her report.
Well, Mr. Chair, can I ask her at this time to give that report at the next meeting?
Mr. Chair.
Excuse me. Yes, sir.
I have some unclarity on what my colleague is asking for because, again, he stated that there's a report, but I think he was very direct that he wanted an assessment.
Yes, sir.
And when he's talking about what the chief of police provides us, that's not an assessment. He's giving us a report about what his goals are. He's not necessarily providing us an assessment on his job duties. And so, again, I'm unclear on what it is that you're asking for. And after you mentioned that request to the full board, there was a motion made by this body to direct that to the Personnel and Training Committee. And it would be the Personnel and Training Committee who would then direct how that report would be made. And I think the chair is saying that that did follow the process. It has been sent to the Personnel and Training Committee, and we're expecting to hear something back. And so I'm again confused about why you're preempting the process that has been stated by the body, voted on by a motion, and then being unclear on whether or not you're asking for a report or an assessment.
Well, let me clarify.
Thank you.
Goals and objective of her office. Goals and objective of her office. Would there be more clarity in reference to? Would that make sense?
She could say that she had the ability to say that. That's her report. If you're asking her to give some of goals and objectives that she has, voila magic.
Mr. Chair, Madam Secretary, that is my request. Goals and objective for your office of 6 months on the duty. Staff and all that, goals and assessment.
I support that.
All agree for that.
But again, Mr. Chair,
it's outright.
Again, I think that there is a semantical issue because, again, he's asking for goals and objectives, which would be forward-looking. But then he's saying assessment on what has happened the last 6 months. And I think that's an evaluation. That's a different process than a report on merely goals and objectives. And so, again, I think that our colleague should try his best to be clear on what it is that you're actually asking for. If you want our board secretary to supply us what her goals and objectives are pertaining to her role and the role of her office moving forward, then I think that that is, as the chair has said, her right every time that the agenda provides her a board secretary report. But again, if you're asking her to evaluate her job and to give an assessment on what she has done, I think that there are already procedures in place that guides that assessment.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Chair. I actually agree with my colleague, Commissioner Bell, out of District 4. When it comes to goals and objectives, we will love to hear that from our Madam Secretary. She is the CEO of this operation. The staff reports to her, and so therefore, she reports to the full board. Her report, definitely holds a lot of weight. We value her as our secretary. She's doing, a good job. But the thing about it is, she is the CEO of this operation for the Board of Police Commissioners. We hired her for that. In fact, this position, you have to have, I believe, a master's degree in order to, was part of the requirement, which she has that. And so we would love to hear more from her in her reporting. When it comes to goals and objectives, commissioners, we hired her, she's doing a good job, but we need to hear more from her, give her report, and just like we have it, just like we listen to DPD give their report week after week.
I don't know what you wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? You know, you see. So, amen. Amen. I'm in agreement with you. So let's move on to unfinished business. We ain't there yet.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, so unfinished business, a closed session pursuant to Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268A, the department's request for the board to consider administrative leave without pay, but with medical benefits for police officer Tyus Monroe, badge 813, assigned to the chief's neighborhood liaison.
Mr.
We in the middle of a motion.
So moved.
Policy committee report on the voting issues. We're not ready for closed session yet.
No, that's after.
Point of order, we're in unfinished business.
We're on the unfinished business, not new
Madam
business.
Commissioner.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Carter.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Presley. In the discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. This is a 2-minute recess. 4:23, April the 3rd. Okay. They told me 1 second. He gave me the finger, and not the bad finger. Are we good?
Not yet.
Okay.
Get it
All right.
back.
I'm sorry. Okay. April the 23rd, and it's still 4:23. April the 3rd, 4:23. The Board of Police Commission is called back to order. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Woods,
Present.
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Banks,
Present.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Burton,
Present.
Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Moore is excused, Commissioner Hernandez is excused, Commissioner Presley,
Here.
and Commissioner DeWalsh is excused. 8 present, sir.
Thank you. We have a quorum. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move that we go into a closed session pursuant to the allowable, I don't know what the actual section is in the Open Meetings Act, so that the board might hear from its attorney.
Motion made to go into closed session to get a legal opinion, and second by Commissioner Bell. Any discussion? All in favor?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, just to rectify, that is Section 8E of the Open Meetings Act, to consult its attorney.
Yes, sir. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. This is a 5-minute recess.
Commissioner Presley, quick how you pull that up. How you pull it up that quick?
It's 4:41. Today is April the 3rd. The Board of Police Commission is back in open session. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Woods,
Present.
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Banks,
Present.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Burton,
Present.
Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Moore is excused, Commissioner Hernandez is excused, Commissioner Presley,
Here.
Commissioner DeWalsh is excused. 8 present, sir.
Okay. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I move that we enter into closed session pursuant to Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268A, the department's request for the board to consider administrative leave without pay but with medical benefits for police officer Tyus Monroe, badge 813.
Motion made to go back into closed session by Commissioner Presley, supported by Commissioner Carter. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. This is a 1-minute recess. You're going to be doing a little of this probably about 1 or 2 more times. Thank you. It's 4:49, April the 3rd, 2025. The Board of Police Commission is back in order. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Woods,
Present.
Commissioner Smith, Present. Commissioner Bernard.
Present.
Commissioner Banks.
Present.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Burton.
Present.
Commissioner Carter. Commissioner Moore is excused. Commissioner Hernandez excused. Commissioner Presley.
Here.
Commissioner DeWash, excuse me, is excused. 8 present, sir.
We have a quorum, okay? What is the pleasure of the board? Okay. All right. Let's go to new business. New business, closed session pursuant to Section 8F of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268F, candidate Nicholas Petway Turner for the board to consider disqualified applicant appeal from DPD hiring process.
I'm sorry, you're skipping over these motions?
What motion?
Motion to adopt the recommendation that the Office of Chief Investigation.
There was no
We're not there, we're
Your
not
agenda
there
has
yet.
it listed differently.
Oh, okay, where's it at?
It says new business A.
Okay, well, okay. New business, I don't have it.
So I know a lot of these are like policy directives. I don't know if that was
There's
supposed to come
6
out of
policies and
Okay, thank you.
policy
recommendations.
committees, and then there were 2 that's supposed to be recommendations from the Office of Chief Investigator.
Correct.
Uh,
All of those are before the closed session, Mr. Chairman, at least on the agenda that I received.
Okay, come help me out, Madam Secretary.
In that
Okay.
closed session.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's not in my packet.
You could just go by what we
Yeah, there are
have
2
there.
motions to adopt regarding the chief investigator's
Okay, we're
office.
just-
The chief investigator's office, that's what, there are 2 motions, then they're
Okay, so I just, all right, so,
These 3.
these 3 right here. Not a problem, go ahead. Commissioner Carter?
Thank you, sir, through the chair, and this report is in the absence of the chair of the Personnel and Training Committee, Commissioner Hernandez. So we met on April the 1st at 3 p.m., and we discussed quite a few things. There is a motion, I'm sorry, there's a memo in your packet.
Okay.
And I'm going to get right to the motion. By the direction of the Personnel and Training Committee, I move to amend the standard operating procedures of the Board of Police Commissioners, Office of the Chief Investigator by striking 3 years and inserting 1 year so that qualifications for application for promotion to senior investigator requires 1 year and not 3 years.
Okay. If there being no objections,
You'll have this.
or any discussion, right?
Discussion.
Yep. Yes,
I
sir.
would object to reducing it by 2 years to 1 year. I think 1 year, you're just getting your experience. And also, you're going to promote that person to a senior investigator. 3 years, more or less, would be accurate, or 2 years, but not 1 year.
Mr. Chairman, you can ask the commissioner if he has an amendment.
I've amended that, make a motion for 2 years versus 1 year.
That's a motion, it has to be seconded.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Chair.
Discussion.
My discussion is to the Personnel and Training Committee. What was the rationale for 1 instead of 2?
Because in the past year and a half, 2 years, we've hired so many people with investigative experience that instead of waiting for the 3 years to pass, they are ready at the first year. And Chief Investigator can speak more to that.
And so is it the intention of the person, I'm sorry, through the chair, is the
Yeah.
person of the intention of the Personnel and Training Committee that if a person already comes with investigative experience, that it's 1 year? And then if they have no investigative experience, then it would be 2 or 3?
Not necessarily 2 or 3. If they have no investigator experience, it could be 3 years, 4 years, it could.
Right.
Okay, so
The premise is to get those, like I said, with investigative experience to the forefront, as opposed to waiting those 3 years. Because we have such new talent, and the talent is extreme, and this doesn't, they are considered. So they also have other things. So their evaluation, performance evaluation goes hand in hand with that as well.
And so, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Wondering if that changes Commissioner Bill's motion at all?
No, sir.
Okay.
Can I speak to it?
Yes, sir.
We have experienced investigators in that office, quite a number of them. I'm not concerned about newly hired person get promoted without that experience. It takes some time, and I know personally, because I was in that office 3 years, and I also was an investigator at one time on the department. It takes time to be trained and have that experience under your belt. So that 1 year, I think we're going to take an officer and make them a supervisor in 1 year. This is not happening in the Detroit Police Department. Does not happen.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add to my colleague, Commissioner Bell in District 4, is that I actually agree with him because, you bring someone on this year, the first 6 months or so is probationary period for that person, and then you trying to promote a person within a year. You really want someone to have 3 to 5 years of experience before they promote it. And that's pretty much how it's been the 12 years that Commissioner Bell, myself, and Carter has been here. So you want someone with experience, and 1 year is just not going to cut it. We still have a backlog of cases, and so what a person with 1 year experience, if they get promoted, how are they going to supervise? Or when there's so many different steps that they have not, figured out yet. And then there's the NACO piece for our training, and so the likelihood that person won't be able to go to NACO to get trained and and get certified, or whatever there, and so we setting that person up for failure instead of setting that person up for success. And so I second Commissioner Bell's motion for 2 years to reduce it to 2, but we all know 3 to 5 years should be standard. So I support the 2 years by Commissioner Bell.
Yep. Mr. Warfield, Chief Investigator.
Through the chair,
Yeah.
thank you all so much. I just want to make sure that we're first of all clear. This motion that is being considered right now is not for supervising investigator. This motion is for senior investigator. Currently, the criteria is only one criteria, that you have 3 years of experience, and that's it. In the proposed criteria, it takes not just the time that you serve in office, but it also looks at the quality and the quantitative things that you bring to the office. So let me read it real briefly. It says, the senior investigator position will be open to all staff in addition to all interested parties. Will present a resume for consideration. Each interested party will be evaluated based on experience and seniority. Serve at least 1 year as a high-performing OCI investigator with an overall performance evaluation of achieving expectations in both goals and competencies, or have at least 1 year comparable experience in an investigative unit. And the reason why this came to bear is because during our interviewing process, we had saw a number of individuals who had criminal justice investigative experience, who have been added to our team, who has brought a great deal of experience, a great deal of knowledge. As a matter of fact, our new investigators are really setting the bar as it relates to the amount of cases that are being closed, and their leadership in their particular areas have been just phenomenal. It really has, the example that they've set, which is why we made the position. We wanted to open up the position and not just base it on 3 years being in the office.
Yes, and I know that we had attorneys and major people coming from major places to be able to contribute, and I strongly support it. You know, so the motion was made. We had discussion as far as for the amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
For the amendment. This is
just for the
just report of information. The vote we're having right now is a vote on Commissioner Bell's amendment for 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and this will be on this on that. Yep. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, I call for a roll call vote.
Roll call.
Last. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard?
Yes.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Bell?
Yes.
Commissioner Burton?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore is excused. Commissioner Hernandez excused. Commissioner Presley?
Yes.
And Commissioner DeWash is excused. Commissioner Woods?
No.
7 yea votes, 1 no, nay.
And so now we're back to
Mr.
accepting-
Chairman, you need to declare the motion is adopted, and now back to the motion as amended.
The motion is adopted
To change it from
from
1 year to 2 years.
to change it from 1 year to 2 year.
Now you're back to the motion as amended.
Now back to the motion as amended.
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ask if there's any further discussion.
Is there
sir.
any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried.
Thank you, sir.
Next.
Mr. Chair, by the direction of the Personnel and Training Committee, I move to amend the standard operating procedures of the Board of Police Commissioners, Office of the Chief Investigator, by removing years of required experience as a senior investigator in the BOPC, Office of the Chief Investigator, where a senior investigator is eligible for promotion to supervising investigator.
All in favor say aye.
I'm sorry.
Ask for discussion.
Any discussion? Thank you.
Could you, Mr. Chair, could you clarify what you just stated?
Okay, Mr.
Yeah.
Through the chair, and thank you again. The current single requirement for a senior investigator to become a supervising investigator is that they serve 2 years as a senior. That's it. Our proposal is that the supervising investigator position will be open to all staff. In addition to all interested parties will present a resume for consideration. Each interested party will be evaluated based on experience and seniority, serve at least 2 years as an OCI senior investigator, or have at least 2 years comparable experience in a supervisory position.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Could you clarify, what do they bring to the table from some other capacity?
I'll give you, through the chair, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Through the chair, we have hired investigators who come to us with supervisory experience in handling caseloads and case management. We have people who work for us now who were supervisors in their previous positions as relates to dealing with crime intel and things like that. And so it would be upon the commissioners to look at that experience at time of promotion and determine, just like almost in any other position, would their life experience qualify and be transferable to our office, the skills that they've gained and learned in their previous experience. I hope that answers, through the chair, I hope that answers the question.
Professional experience, I hope.
Yeah.
My life.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I wanted to have something to say for discussion. I thought we were still
Okay.
discussing the matter, but
Go ahead.
You know, through the chair, I feel that the original language that was used before it was brought to the table today, I think we should not rush to change the language, the original language. You know, we really want to have our employees come in, work their way up, not so much, you know, experience from other places coming in and getting a senior investigator position or a supervisor investigator position. You know, we have some good investigators that's working in this office, and so, you know, I don't think we should make a quick decision right now as far as changing that language. But I do like to hear more from my colleague Commissioner Bell, who once worked in that in OCI for a number of years after retiring from DPD after 33 years career here. And so if anybody that knows what's best for that OCI office would definitely be Commissioner Bell.
So you saying he got us in the backlog?
No, I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not going to joke. We are not going to joke about that.
Absolutely not.
Commissioner Bell is one of our honorable senior statesman commissioner that represent this board. And the thing about this is we're not going to joke about the backlog. We're not going to joke about that. That's
we're working to get out of it.
But we do have.
And this is the tools that we need to get out.
We do have someone who has experience working in that office that, you know, that can turn things around. And Commissioner Bell has done a lot of great things with the board, as well as when he worked in OCI, and a number of great things that he done with the Detroit Police Department for 33 years, as well as being the former president of the Guardians Union. But we're going to say something, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
We're going to speak facts here. We're not going to make a joke about the backlog of cases, and then you try and tie Commissioner Bell's name to that. No. That's not going to fall on my watch.
Okay,
this man is a great honorable commissioner, and I support him.
Could I speak?
Yes, sir.
I want to say,
I'm sorry.
It's clear that the backlogs were created by an investigator not doing their job.
Right.
And I want to go further, that we in the process of hiring resignation officer who resigned from the department, who created the backlog. It doesn't make sense. And we have a significant number of cases that we can review of that investigator did not do their job. They went home during COVID and they stayed home and no function. So that really realistic what happened. And we're in the process of hiring these folks back to the job because they...
That's much bigger than my pay grade.
And Mr. Chair, again, I think there's a motion on the floor relative
all in favor
to
say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. Commissioner Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. By the direction of the Personnel and Training Committee, I move that we hire 6 task workers for OCI. Is it 4? No, 6 task workers.
Ready for that?
Through the chair and I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, you really have to state the motion. I know she said it, but it's not on the floor until you state it.
Right. I think he's trying to clarify what it is.
You got to state the motion, or there is nothing.
Okay. All right.
Clarify.
Clarify because there's no motion.
Task, TASS workers.
All right. So there's a motion to hire 6 task workers.
Second.
It's from the Personnel Training Committee.
No second is required.
Okay. All right. And all in favor say aye.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
Thank you, sir.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to hear the clarity that the Chief Investigator wanted to bring.
Thank you, through the chair, and certainly to Commissioner Carter. There are 6 task workers. 3 will work for OCI in administrative capacities in order to help alleviate the burden for the 2 that's there. And then the other 3 will be in the BOPC office. So there are 6, but 3 in BOPC and 3 in OCI.
Okay. Motion made. Go ahead.
Can you provide the history of these past employees that work OCI in terms of their caseload.
This ain't that. This is separate from what you're talking about.
I'm talking about hiring the people.
Through the
Okay.
chair, it's very
Yes.
important that we do see that documentation that Commissioner Bell.
Mr. Chair, just for
this
a
is-
point of clarity.
we can do that.
So this is just to say that we put the positions in our budget, not the actual people who are being hired in these positions, correct? I'm just trying to clarify.
My understanding, those people have already been
No,
named.
this
We
separate-
received an
this
email
separate,
to that.
Commissioner
So it's a
Bell.
different matter?
Yeah, this is a different matter.
Okay, so again, this is just to allow us to be able to hire task workers and not us deciding who those task workers are.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Motion made by Commissioner Carter, second by Commissioner
It was a
Burton.
Personnel and Training Committee.
As directed by the Personnel and Training Committee. Anyone, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried.
I do have a question now, and I mean,
Yeah.
like, we can redirect that back to the Personnel and Training Committee, or maybe I'm just not reading this well. So because there was an amendment made relative to the senior investigator that required 2 years, but then we passed the motion for the supervising investigator that was at least 1 year, whether or not there is any like inconsistencies in that regard, where now we might be allowing a person to be a supervising investigator with less tenure time than we actually have for senior investigator. So maybe they can.
Yes, sir.
Through the chair, to answer the question of Commissioner Presley, for the supervising investigators, it was 2 years. The proposed language.
Read. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Yes.
So about the task workers that used to be former, I don't know, but I'm hearing.
Yes.
So have they been hired already?
Yes, they have. And there's, I got, when
With the board's approval?
it was with the board's approval, but we have to present the names now before the board. And that's what we have to do to correct that. And we've been in conversation with HR today and was going to bring that up. Do we have those names?
Yes, sir, we do have the names to the chair. I don't know if this motion has been carried, though.
The motion, it has.
The motion had been carried for the
Yeah,
last motion.
yeah.
No conversation.
This is another conversation.
Yeah.
But we can talk about it late, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we need to know.
It has to, excuse me, it has to go back to the Personnel and Training Committee. It bring it way back up here.
Thank you.
There was miscommunications, and it has to be corrected.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
And so,
Mr. Chairman.
Chair, as it's coming back from the Personnel and Training Committee, more than just the names, if that can actually be a real packet, so with resumes and the like, when it comes to the full board.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir.
Through the chair. So this, for clarity, the second that I supported Commissioner Carter's motion for 6 task workers, I'm under the impression that those, we didn't, this is some, we looking to hire 6, but we didn't hire the 6.
Right.
But
That's correct.
okay, so we don't have names for these 6 task workers.
Not those, no. We got names for the task workers that we approved for task workers to come on. There was some jumping of the gun, and we need to be able to correct that for the record. And we consulted with HR and consulted with the attorney to be able to get that corrected.
So my second, it was for 6 new task workers.
Absolutely,
Okay.
for sure.
So,
Mr. Chairman.
Chair, so are they hired or not?
They're hired.
Mr. Chairman, Chairman, all due respect, you cannot hire anyone. It's up to the board.
I
to
agree
hire.
with that, and I
So
did.
therefore, that matter should be tabled until such a time as we get clarity as far as resume and history and all that good. But HR cannot hire, the board hired. And
That's
it's
true.
clear with the Corporation Council.
That's true.
Yes, sir. So can we, when I saw that email of the names, I said, yes,
I didn't know the names, anything of that nature. The fact of the matter is that it was a snafu, and it's being corrected. And
who do we blame that on?
I take the blame. Give me the blame.
Are they working currently? Are they on the payroll? Yes.
Chief Investigator?
Through the chair, they are working currently. They are on the payroll. They have been processed. They did receive letters, offer letters from the board. And so, yes, they are on the payroll.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
recommendation to rescind all of that. The chief investigator are not able to hire anyone. This board make that decision. So he need to rescind what he sent out.
Well,
I support what Commissioner Bell is saying, because through the chair, in past practices, that have not occurred. And so what Commissioner Bell is saying is actually accurate, and I actually stand with what he's saying.
well, I would, okay.
we've been here 12
I would be
years.
very, very careful in terms of legally, where we at right
Point of
now.
order, Mr. Chair. It's been moved.
I stand with
okay.
Commissioner Bell.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Bell, second by Commissioner Burton.
Discussion now.
Discussion
Mr. Chair, I actually we get it at
That motion?
to rescind
Rescind these hirees.
the hires of the task workers.
Position of the board.
Yeah. And it was second by Commissioner Burton, and then now we on the discussion.
Mr. Chairman, you can only rescind action that the board actually took. What I'm hearing is that the board took no action
Right.
on those workers.
Okay. So,
They're not
the-
authorized.
right.
I'm not saying that the board can't intervene in taking action about a decision that was made that circumvented the process. But the motion to rescind
Yeah.
has to be made on something the board did.
Right.
And I'm hearing that the board did not vote to hire these individuals.
Well, good point of order. I mean, and I don't want to get caught up in semantics. I do appreciate the wisdom of the parliamentarian, but it was just communicated by the chief investigator that the board sent letters to these task workers hiring them. So if the board, if
Did
it
the
was,
board do that based on the board action, or were these letters generated some other way?
No, it was.
Again, I think that's why I recognize
the letters-
your role as the parliamentarian, but again, there was not a motion to rescind a motion. And so if there was a motion to rescind, I understand that, but it was not a motion to rescind a motion. The motion that was made by Commissioner Bill second was to rescind the hires. And if there's suggested there were letters that hired employees by the board, then I think that, again, I understand the word rescind might be triggering to the parliamentarian procedures, but I think that whatever he's suggesting is to unhire, stop whatever that letter suggested, and not to suggest that there was actually a motion made by this board. And again, the fact that there wasn't a motion made by this board, which I think provokes his motion, kind of puts us in a quandary of how we actually move forward. So again, I think he's just attempting to respond to what was suggested, that there are letters that have been given to individuals by the board hiring them. And I wanted the discussion so we can ask our board attorney what our
I think that's the best advice.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
So, board
and
attorney-
for transparency's sake, I will say that the board secretary presented letters to me, and I signed them, not understanding the entire process. So I signed the letters that she gave me, as is typical of the chairman to sign those letters, and not fully understanding that, when we said we was going to hire task workers, that it had to be done in a specific way. And I don't know if we go ahead, Mr. Attorney. 'cause we talked
I appreciate that transparency, but at this point, we just need to try to rectify what's been done. And so, Mr. Attorney, the question is, now that letters have been presented to these employees and there is a rescission, what is the legal ramifications of rescinding letters that have been provided to these employees by the board, signed by the chair?
There could be potential liability for the board because they relied on those letters that they received for that position. So we have to look at that liability. However, since the board did not vote on it, I believe that the board can rescind those 4 letters.
Mr. Chair, again to the attorney, is there a way, I don't know what date may have been suggested in the letter or anything like that? Is there an opportunity for extension of the date so that the board can determine whether or not we want to move forward in this matter that doesn't immediately rescind a letter that's been offered?
The problem is they started already.
That doesn't matter.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Well, I know that people have personal, let me say this. I know with one of those employees, people have expressed personal disdain for and have a personal gripe for. I don't know them, none of them, you know, and so that's been circulating. And so we have to be very, very careful in terms of how we present this as well, because people are on the record, just like you said, you expressed just momentarily your personal gripe of one in particular. And I don't want to be selecting no one out
Through the
in
chair,
this situation.
I don't think that that's the time or the place for this. I think that right now we need to concentrate on how we rectify what has been done. And I think that experience has taught us that everything has to come to the board.
For sure, I agree with that.
Everything has to come to the board before. So I think that we need to rectify, and I think that this should go to the legal, for an opinion, for Corporation Counsel for an opinion as to how we rectify.
And he talked to Corporation Counsel today, the people under the labor, and I think that whatever need to be done to rectify, we need to rectify it. You know, and so that's yes, ma'am, and yes, sir.
Legally, it's an ultra-virus action. It's an action that was not authorized. The hiring of these people was not authorized. That's your point. So therefore, the action it can't be correct. I mean, the action has to be rescinded by, I guess,
The chair could do that. He could rescind that action.
Yeah, and
rescind the action, and we have to go back and do it correctly.
Right.
Yeah, the people's resumes have to come to the
The
board.
board authorized. The board authorized to hire 4 task workers.
But not those. Those are authorized positions, not authorized
what was
people.
approved? Okay, all right. I get what you're saying. The board authorized to hire 4 task workers.
That's fine.
We approved that. You know, the names, I guess, is what we're dealing with now.
The people.
You know, and so and he can give us a legal opinion on it and work with the personnel training committee to correct anything that need to be corrected. Because if we get the names to everyone and they be able to see it based upon the legal guidance that we got from the Corporation Counsel, who said that we can do it that way as well. And so I'm encouraging, and it's my position that those names and resumes get to every board member.
We received them, Mr. Chairman.
You received?
We received it through email or text. What I'm indicating to you is that we didn't take no action. You sent out communication with our organization, so you just have to send out another one, rescind that until we address this. And don't make it personal. I don't know those folks individually. I know them from their job requirements, that type of thing. I ask you to look at all the resume and profile of any former person that we're going to bring back. Is it unreasonable?
No, it's not unreasonable. I'm privy of a lot of the conversation. Yes, sir. I'm whatever the pleasure of the board.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
So now what we learn in here today is that 4 individuals received letters. Who approved that? Who authorized that? Who compiled the names for these letters to go to? We like to know this because, like Commissioner Carter said here, and I agree with her, everything needs to come before the full board.
Absolutely.
So who authorized this? Who approved these 4 names? And who submitted those letters to them, guaranteeing them a job?
There's a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
But I like clarity to that before this meeting adjourned.
There's what is the all in favor for the rescind?
Motion to rescind.
To rescind. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. So rescind them. Prepare a letter to rescind those hires.
But through the chair, like, for the record, I'd like to know who authorized that in the get-go for those 4 individuals.
I signed 4 letters that was presented to me by the board secretary, saying
You didn't come before you didn't. This
4
is
task
the
work,
board has to
4
make-
task
the board
workers
makes
with
decisions,
other.
not you as one single person.
That's true. I sign all letters as it relates to hires. They were presented to me. I signed them, and they were presented to me, and I signed them.
The board secretary wants to speak?
The letters were forwarded from the chief investigator. Names in conjunction with HR, City of Detroit. The names came from the chief investigator for the letters to go out, to be put on letterhead to present to the chair of the board.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I appreciate the transparency that is occurring here. I'm grateful for Commissioner Bell and that we were able to rectify, at least temporarily, a mistake that has been made. However, we do still have a rather lengthy agenda. I hope that we can come back to have a more comprehensive understanding of what happened and to ensure that we might discuss policy that might be put in place to ensure that it doesn't occur again.
Oh, absolutely. What's else on my agenda? I don't have anything else on the agenda where I can see.
I handed it to you.
Yeah.
Remember, you got some policy directives.
There are 3 more motions.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's
Mine?
Yeah, but then another.
Policy directive to intervene.
Okay.
Control-related reports and performance evaluation rating.
I'm ready.
Yep.
Okay, thank you,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman.
Yep.
By direction of the Policy Committee to the Board of Police Commissioners, I move to adopt as Policy Directive 102.12, duty to intervene. I'd like to point out to the board that this is the problem that happened in the George Floyd case, where the senior officer had his knee on George Floyd's neck and the other officers were standing there and did nothing. So we have decided to address this issue systemically. Specifically, all officers have a duty to intervene whenever there is excessive force used, period. You're to stop the person who's using the excessive force and address it. Secondly, all officers have a duty to protect members of the public from biased or discriminatory policing practices, including enforcement decisions based in whole or in part on race, color, sex, religion, national origin, height, weight, marital status, gender identity, or sexual orientation of any person. All officers have that duty. Thirdly, all officers have the duty to address constitutional violations.
Point of order, Mr. Chair, just so we can get the motion, and then she can continue to read that in discussion.
No, I'm not. I don't want to read. I don't want you to understand.
You're making a motion by recommendation of the policy committee. In order for the chair to be able to state that motion, so we can actually have something to vote on, you can't add.
I'm not adding anything. I'm reading the policy directly.
Exactly. Under you making the motion, Madam Commissioner, I'm not trying to stop you from being able to do that. Allow him to state the motion, and then when he asks for discussion, then you can read what you're reading
by now. If I want you to understand what I'm asking you to second. That's it. And so the only other part of this motion, that's important, I'm telling you what's important,
Point of order. This is not for you to tell us what's important. This is for the policy committee to state a motion that this board can vote on.
The parliamentarian has not ruled against me. I am stating my motion.
What is the motion?
What I just said is I want you to understand what the duty to intervene is, and that a supervisor has to be present after.
Point of order. It's not your motion.
No, therefore.
It's the policy committee's motion.
On behalf of the policy committee, I recommend that you adopt the motion, Directive 102.12, duty to intervene.
Mr. Chairman, I hope in the future that we have ample time to read and digest before committee circulated. 1 hour, that's not sufficient. It's an important document that we're taking. I want to know.
So this wasn't mailed to you? emailed to you?
No, I mean, we just got it. Give us
Was this emailed out?
Through the chair, the policy did go before the committee. However, there are revisions between the department and our office, sometimes up until the last minute. So that is the ongoing process.
So I'm saying, what's considered the last minute?
There was a meeting this morning, like probably
There was a meeting Tuesday.
Ms. Tyson made some minor changes prior to. This is the policy with very minor changes, commas, whatever, grammatical changes. But this is the final revision that's presented here today in the packet, which was sent out, should have been sent out about noon, is our time, drop
So
dead
the final
time
package.
to send out the packet.
These are
Sure, but all I
grammatical error things.
Mr. Chairman, all I ask, give us a week or so, go over this process. These are important.
The commissioner can move to postpone this to next week.
I'd like to call the table.
Add into.
Fine.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Bell to postpone.
Support.
And supported by Commissioner Burton. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The motion is carried.
Do you want, is that your pleasure for the other two?
Yes, ma'am.
Reports as well,
Was
the
those sent
patrol-related
out?
reports? The item number 8E, I move, the Directive 201.2, patrol-related reports, and also, I guess, to postpone Directive 401.1, performance evaluation ratings. Is that correct?
Give us the opportunity.
So next week?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
they can be postponed till next week.
Support.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Motion to postpone is
Motion-
adopted.
Motion to postpone is adopted.
Thank you, sir.
Through the chair, I got one quick question. Who told the secretary to draft the letters?
That becomes
Ask her.
she already said it on the record.
Oh, you have a closed session, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
still.
You look like you're getting ready to adjourn the meeting.
I got
Chair,
Yeah.
Secretary,
Yes. Hold on.
pursuant to Section 8F of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268F, candidate Nicholas Pettaway Turner for the board to consider disqualified applicant appeal from DPD hiring process. I move that we go into closed session.
Motion made by Commissioner Carter, second by Commissioner Smith, to go into this closed session. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. This is a 3-minute recess.
Thank you.
It's 6:04, April the 3rd, 2025. The Board of Police Commissioners back in session. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Woods,
Present.
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Banks,
Present.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Burton,
Present.
Commissioner Carter. Oh, Commissioner Moore, excuse. Commissioner Hernandez, excuse. Commissioner DeWalsh, excuse. Commissioner Presley.
Here.
8 present, sir.
Thank you. We have a quorum. What's the pleasure?
Move to grant his appeal.
Motion.
To go to the academy and see if he works out.
Motion made by Commissioner Bernard to grant the appeal.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Presley. Any discussion? All in favor, or do a roll call vote? Roll call vote.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
No.
Commissioner Bell,
No.
Commissioner Burton,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter. Commissioner Presley,
Yes.
Commissioner Woods,
Yes.
five yea votes, 3 nay.
Okay. Congratulations, young man.
Declare the motion
The motion,
adopted, Mr. Chairman.
the motion is approved.
Thank you, sir.
What's the pleasure?
I move for adjournment.
Motion made by Commissioner Presser to adjourn, second by Commissioner Bernard. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. We adjourn.